Hey guys, so today in this video I want to talk to you about fungus in your lawn. I want to go into it and just explain a few things and also tell you what we can do about it to try and keep your lawn nice and green. Let's get started. So this is one of our regular customers' lawns. We just do the standard treatments. Occasionally we'll do a bit of scarifying once every year, once every couple of years. We could probably do it a bit more often than what we do. Now we did actually scarify this, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, something like that, start of the year. There was a bit of moss, so we scarified, and heavily it was quite patchy down this end, but you can see it's all recovered and looking pretty good. The grass has filled in rather nice. But then we've got the central part of the lawn. Now this is where the sun hits, okay, and this is a factor. So, fungus in lawns is caused by humidity in general. If the conditions are right, if it's nice and humid. Now you imagine between your toes, it's hot and sweaty, and you get athlete's foot. When it's a hot, sweaty day, you tend to get the athlete's foot down there, which is fungal, and it's fungal related. And it's a similar thing to your lawn. So if the humidity is there and it is enough, you can end up with fungus in the lawn. Now this can show itself as mushrooms or other diseases, but the most common disease is called red thread. Now it looks as though it's dry and patchy, and when this happens, a lot of people tend to water the lawn as much as they can, thinking they're going to get rid of the dry patches. And then when it doesn't improve, they start to water more. But what they're doing is they're making things worse. Now, how do we know a dry patch compared to a fungal patch? Well, there are differences, but you need to get up close and have a look. Now, when it's fungal, you will see little pink blobs of mycelium or mycelia, and you can see here little blobs, okay, and it looks like candy floss, cotton candy. And here we've got some more, okay. And basically everything is sort of matted together as though it's been a bit sticky. And that is generally the appearance of a fungal disease. You tend to find that the grass has become a little bit sort of matted and laying down. It's not always totally evident, and it also depends how strong it is. But yeah, in general, it's matted, but not always. As you can see there again, the pink mycelia. Now you don't always get the pink mycelia, sometimes you just get patches of brown like this, so it all depends on the severity. So, we're talking about humidity, we're talking about disease pressure which builds through the year. Now disease pressure builds up as the humidity increases in the atmosphere. So environmental things like the weather can't be helped. But also, if you don't scarify your lawn regularly, you get a build up of thatch. And that thatch is like a bath sponge, okay? And it's just dead organic matter in a layer sitting on top of the ground. Now that layer will hold water. When you don't scarify, that layer of thatch holds on to moisture. And then when we get the heat, we get the perfect breeding ground for fungus to occur. So it's really important you scarify once or twice a year. Keep the thatch level down to reduce the chance of getting fungal diseases. Now you should also aerate your lawn as well. This is why I've always preached scarify and aerate at least once a year, just to keep your lawn in as good condition as possible. Now despite all this, you can still get fungus in your lawn if the disease pressure is high enough. In which case, we've got to think what we're going to do about it. So let's say you've scarified and aerated and you're still getting problems in your lawn. You're getting the odd mushrooms, which are also caused by bacteria and microbes in the soil. It is actually a sign of good healthy grass. You generally only see it, mushrooms in the ground, popping up when we've had the humidity. So it's been really hot for a few weeks and then we suddenly get loads of rain. You're getting that humidity and then you'll start seeing mushrooms coming up. Just pick them off. It's a good sign. It's a good sign that you've got some decent soil biology going off. So what can we do? Well, as we said, scarify and aerate regular. That is one thing you should be thinking about doing. The other thing you could put on is a fungicide. However, fungicides are becoming less and less available to the UK market. You can still get fungicides in the States and other countries, but in the UK things are getting banned little bit by little bit. You want something with trifloxystrobin in, Prevento lawn disease control is something you could think about if you can get hold of some. I haven't seen much of it about in recent months, so I need to check up and actually see if it's still available, but it could be an option. The only other thing for now that you could think about doing is putting some nitrogen on. Now often a dose of nitrogen applied fairly heavily will help, because it will make the grass grow really fast and help it to grow out, which is what we want to achieve. Because people say it can't kill the grass, but I do beg to differ. I have seen cases where lawns that have been affected quite heavily with red thread, if left, can turn into dead patches. Now, I'm not saying there wasn't anything else involved. There could have been issues with ants, there could have been issues with drought, not watering enough. So what can you do? So you've got to make sure your lawn is healthy, okay? Fertilise regular, scarified and aerate once or twice a year. Keep the thatch levels down, keep the drainage going, okay? If you get the red thread, put some high nitrogen on. Don't ask me what application rate I use, because every package, every product has a different application rate. Mine is a commercial brand that's not available to the general public. So generally want like a 46 naught on the NPK, or you could do something which is maybe not 46, something which is a little bit lower and will have some values in the P and the K, which will help with the roots and the health of the plant as well. But generally you want the N to be fairly high. When you apply, it can scorch the lawn, so you don't want to go absolutely mad with it and not water your lawn. So the other thing, you do need to keep irrigating your lawn. It's really important. But if you over irrigate, you're then increasing the humidity again. So it's about getting that balance. Watering twice a week, deeply, mornings, not in the evenings. If you water in the evening, the lawn is going to bed wet, and then with the heat we get the humidity. Again, perfect breeding ground for fungus to occur. So in a nutshell, mow regular, scarify and aerate a couple of times a year, keep applying your fertilisers. Now one other thing you can do, as we get more into autumn, you'll get an increased disease pressure building up. It just naturally does every single year. So you could come out with your brush every morning and brush the dew off. Same again over winter. Yeah, come out with a brush and brush the dew off. Or you can use a switch, the greenkeeper switch, and they're actually good for taking off the worm casts as well. You can also use a mower, but a mower does take a little bit longer to do. But again, like I say, all these things are there to help you get your lawn good. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave them down below. A thumbs up would be absolutely amazing, and I'm also going to ask you to subscribe. If you're not a subscriber, be much appreciated. Catch you on the next one. Now I just want to show you on a slightly different lawn here. This lawn has got walls all the way around. which means there is often not much wind to blow off any surface moisture, and it gets a lot of irrigation. The customer's actually got some in-ground irrigation sprinklers there, so he has it all set up on a timer. I need to have a word with him about changing his timings a little bit, but you can see we've got the red thread patches here, and this is quite a stronger version, as you can see. Yeah, you can see the pink mycelia there in the middle. But something else I wanted to point out while we're here is that you will see this. Okay? Now it looks like a cloud. And you'll see that quite a bit. And believe it or not, that is the start of fungus appearing. So what we're going to do on this time, we are going to put a fungicide down, a professional fungicide, which is it's getting banned this year. And we've got the mushrooms, just to point out there, that affects every type of lawn. So it's when it's wet and when it's warm. So this is the fungicide I'm currently using, Dualitas, that it is going out of production. They're no longer allowed to make it, and there's just a few remaining bottles of stock left. But again, it's for professional use. Unfortunately, there's not much available now for the domestic market. So when you do apply a fungicide, you need to make sure it's not going to rain until it's well and truly dried onto the leaf. We have got a dry morning, apparently, and it's going to rain later on this afternoon. So that gives us about 4 hours, 5 hours to get this on and give it a good chance. I'm also going to put some high nitrogen fertiliser on as well, just to get it growing. The more things you can do to help, the better. Right, while we are talking fungus in this video, I've just come to the next job, and I want to show you this one. You'll remember this one. Okay, we did a full renovation. We used a more ryegrass based seed type because it was getting a lot of thatch, which was leading to a lot of red thread every year. Now, we're still getting some red thread, but that is because the sheer amount of rain that we've had in the lawn. And it says this has just started happening in the last few days, but prior to this it was looking really good, really dark green. But this is how it starts. So in this one you can see the red needles. Okay, and again I saw it over here. You can see the early stages of fungus in the lawn, which is that cloud-like substance. But I just want to take you over here and have one little look at this lawn. But he's using an allet mower to get the nice crisscross pattern. Overall looking good. So what we're doing with this one, same as the last one, we're putting a fertilizer on, we're putting weed killer on, and putting some high nitrogen on as well, and we're putting a fungicide on. So this will get back to its former glory within about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks.